Okay, to this point, we've worked with the statue picture and then the rocks as well, using the healing brush and the spot healing brush and the patch tool and the clone stamp and a bunch of tools that Photoshop does a great job in terms of photo retouching. This is probably the most the most real world example we could use. Here's an image of a gentleman that obviously is showing a little bit of age in his picture. We're going to kind of bring them back to the fountain of youth and make them a little bit younger. So I'm going to go to O3C Start in Bridge, and I'm going to double click on that, fire that up in Photoshop, and you'll see there's some things that we could probably fix. He's got some wrinkles over on the bottom right side of his glasses over there on his cheeks, and he's also got some wrinkles across the top of his forehead. Before I even do this, there's a concept that a lot of people use to try to help in terms of you can go overboard when you do a photo retouch. And I know some of you guys have probably seen these pictures on the web where you can tell when something's been photoshopped, and it's kind of funny that Photoshop, which is a noun, it's a software package, has become a verb, kind of like Googling. You look at these pictures and you say, wait a minute, something's just not quite right with these pictures. So you look at it and you say automatically that picture gets coined as photoshopped. Somebody has done something to the picture and you can tell exactly what it is. So here's an idea to kind of get away from that philosophy, where we're actually going to make a second layer for this gentleman's face, and we're going to do all the changes on the second layer so that we don't mess up the first layer. And I'll tell you why we're going to do that at the end. But first things first, we got to create a copy of a layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab on the background layer, and I'm going to go right across, drag it down over the new layer icon. And basically what that does is it makes a copy of the layer, which is kind of cool, because now we can work on the layer copy and keeping the original as it is. I don't want to keep it background copy, so I'm going to double click on the name, and we're going to call it Retouch. That's the name of the layer. Hit the enter key. So now I'm on the retouch layer. First things first, we're going to look at his forehead, so I'm going to zoom in. Let me expand this, make it just resize a little bit so we can really see his forehead. And what you'll notice is there are some wrinkles. They got one horizontal wrinkle here and another little horizontal wrinkle here. We're going to fix those first using the healing brush tool. So I'm going to go back over here to the healing brush. If I can find it, there we go. It's under the patch tool. So I'm going to go to the healing brush tool. And let me just make sure our measurements are good. We are going to do, no, let's get, yep, 12 is fine. Mode is going to be normal is fine. Source is sampled. And we're going to make sure we have a line clicked on. And current layer is fine because that's what we do want to sample. And what I'm going to do is, again, with the patch tool, you got to, not the patch tool, the healing brush tool, you got to put a sample spot. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key right up above the wrinkle. And I'm going to set a marker right there, and I'm going to make some strokes right across the wrinkle. You can kind of play around with it, and you can see you can get rid of the wrinkle. I'm going to do the same above the second wrinkle. Hold down the Alt key, place my marker, and then start trying to catch the wrinkle as it cuts across his face. You'll notice that it may look funny as you've got your finger down, but the minute you let go, it automatically adjusts. That's why the healing tool is so cool. It'll automatically adjust to what you're trying to do. So we just got rid of some wrinkles there on his forehead. You could go nuts if you wanted to. We can get rid of some of these blemishes, but the wrinkles look good. The wrinkles are now gone, I should say. Now we're going to kind of focus in. I'm going to scroll down on the picture. He's got some eye wrinkle, which is common problem. I actually have it myself. I like to think it's because of years of smiling, which is what this guy's doing right now. So maybe we suffer from the same problem. In this particular case, we're going to use the patch tool. So I'm going to go back over there. We're going to grab the patch tool. And if you remember, right, the patch tool, you have to create a selection, and then you drag the selection to where you want it to copy into. And I'm really going to zoom right in on the wrinkles of his eyes so I can get some detail. And what I'm going to do is draw a selection around those wrinkles of his eye. I'm actually going to grab all the way up here. And we're going to start to move that into a lighter part of his cheek, probably underneath. Let's see what happens if I go underneath here. And you'll see that it actually works pretty well. And I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to grab this little wrinkle, and this one I'm going to move to the right a little bit. And after it resamples, it does a pretty good job. I have a feeling, though, I grabbed a little bit of his eyeglasses, so I'm going to deselect that one and try that again. With the patch tool in particular, you want to take small sections, and it helps you out to be able to do small sections at a time. And you can slowly get rid of some of these wrinkles. I'm kind of probably getting a little too anal at this point, but you get the picture. So I'm good there. We got rid of some wrinkles along his eye. I'm going to zoom out. And we kind of made them. Let me deselect so I don't have to. And all in all, we kind of made them look a little bit younger. Got them a little bit of wrinkles, or the wrinkles gone. Let me double click here. We'll actually see the picture. I'm moving the layer around. I don't want to do that. Let me reset these two layers. I'm going to adjust this so I can see exactly where a layer needs to be. See, we all make mistakes, so if you find yourself making a few mistakes, you can always fix them later. So one layer is on top of the other. Yeah, I was just looking for an align layer. I know there is one somewhere here where you can just align the two layers, but that's okay. So you look at the picture and you say, okay, we've done our fixes. Occasionally, sometimes you make a mistake, or you make too many changes to the picture, and you kind of want to blend the two so it doesn't look. And here's the idea about making something so photoshopped. What you can do is, here's the fixed, and if you want to see what's going on, you just click off on the retouch. You can see the wrinkles show up. Click them on, they're gone, on, off, old, young, old, young. You get the idea. Oftentimes, though, the changes you make excuse me, are so drastic that you kind of want to blend the two again to give it a little bit more realistic feel. Here's how you do it. You can actually make sure you're on the retouch layer, and you go up to the opacity, and what you can do is slide down on the opacity of your retouch layer, so it gives you a good blend of both. You want to go, I don't know, in this particular case, the book tells me 65%. They say that's a pretty good one. And you can see, you still see a little bit more of the wrinkle, but you have fixed them up enough where it doesn't look so bad. So blending those two layers will help you to keep a realistic look, but to be able to adjust some certain things about a facial feature in a photograph.